As a cryptocurrency MSB, it's important to include policies and procedures in your compliance program that help detect and prevent elder financial exploitation, or EFE. EFE is defined by FinCEN as the illegal or improper use of an older person's funds, property, or assets. While all 50 states have laws regarding the reporting of suspected elder financial abuse, specific state laws may differ concerning whether financial institutions, including MSBs, are considered mandatory reporters, the age of the victim, the level of suspicion that should trigger a report, the time frame in which the report should be filed. According to reports from the FBI and FinCEN, some of the most common EFE scams include romance scams, which involve establishing a romantic relationship with the victim and then requesting money; emergency scams, in which the scammers prey on the victim's emotions by claiming to be a loved one who needs money quickly due to an emergency situation; lottery or prize scams, in which the scammers tell the victims that they have won a prize but must first pay taxes or fees in order to receive it; extortion or threats, in which the scammer threatens to do harm to the victim or their loved ones unless they are paid a ransom. Sadly, these are just a few of the many forms that EFE crimes can take. While financial scams and crimes can be committed against people of any age, those over the age of 60 tend to be particularly vulnerable. That's why it's important to recognize the signs of potential EFE scams by keeping a lookout for several red flags, many of which can be grouped into two categories. 1. Account behaviors. Suspicious account behaviors involve identifying unusual or erratic changes in typical transaction patterns. These might include things like frequent large or daily maximum withdrawals. The customer's transaction or activity appears to be directed by a third party via phone or in person. Unusually large transfers. A sudden insufficient fund alert on an account that's normally in good standing. Sudden non-payment for services when payments are usually made consistently. Debit transactions that show signs of inconsistency. A sudden account closure, especially one that involves penalties. 2. Interactions. These types of red flags arise during interactions with the customer, their caregivers, or a combination of the two. Keep an eye out for things like the older customer appears not to understand cryptocurrency, nor the purpose of their transactions. Caregivers who seem overly interested in the senior's finances. Caregivers who attempt to speak for the senior customer or control their actions or decisions. Senior customers who appear fearful or nervous of their caregivers. Not only should your compliance program include policies and procedures designed to detect and prevent EFE, but your employees should all be well trained in how to implement them. If you have any questions regarding how to develop or strengthen your EFE or cryptocurrency compliance policies and procedures, BitAML is happy to help. Feel free to contact us today for a free consultation.